Hello and welcome to a new video. And today's video we're going to take a look at, in my opinion, I guess like a modern version of a toxic team. We're going to take a look here at Zali's legend team, and this team was fantastic. Like honestly, shout out to you there for putting this team together. I think that Shadow Steelix is a very fun pick in the current meta, but I also do think that the core of Shadow Steelix and the Wigglytuff couldn't be more evil. Let's take a look here at the team real quick. What you're gonna see here is that this team looks really good on paper as well. There are going to be a few Pokemon that can be a bit tricky, but mainly it's going to be Pokemon like Skeledirge or the Alolan Sandslash, Pokemon that you don't really see that often. So, what do you do against Pokemon like this here? Digger's been in lead. I had actually quite unfortunate leads with this team. I have to say that I definitely had way more lead losses than I expected, because I encountered basically every single ground type in the world in the lead today, which was still alright for the team. Like again, I'm not gonna complain about anything with that. It is just how it is, but still alright with this team, because you can still come back from those matchups. Like, I'm not saying that this is going to be like instant loss or anything like this. Absolutely not. I definitely had quite a lot of Diggersby and Stunfisk in the lead though. And yeah, of course, it's gonna make it a little bit more difficult. But this team is honestly such a fun team to run, and such a, I don't know, unique team to run as well. And every Pokemon kind of fits its own purpose and fits perfectly here together. What we have is a lead that's going to be quite bulky, has especially the move Psychic Fangs, which has amazing synergy with the Pokemon Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff, of course, already known for being the most toxic Pokemon, or to just farm down opponents with a fast move, is going to get a little bit of a boost combined with the Steelix, as you're going to be able to drop opponents' defense stats and then use the immense pressure of Charm even more. And this happened quite often and helped out quite often as well. So that's why I mean this is kind of the most toxic core you can run together. And also, while on paper there is one big weakness to it, it actually works out really, really well. Actually, yeah, as you saw there as well, we were able to still win that battle, even though we had a hard lead loss. Here we're going to see in the next battle Regidrago in the lead. We see the face-up of the Dusclops, and here we see our coverage move. We are running Crunch. There was one battle, I don't know if it's going to be in here, because I changed it straight away afterwards. There was one battle where you used Breaking Swipe still, which was like the ideal moveset in PE Poke. Crunch is here in order to counter those Ghost-type Pokemon. And we see already why this is so important, because what we were able to do just now is we were able to realign ourselves, which now allows us to still go for another Crunch against the opponent's incoming Corviknight, which is absolutely fantastic, and we can align ourselves. We know that they have the Regidrago on the back, and so we know that Dusclops is going to be the one Pokemon that's going to be able to beat Corviknight, and against Regidrago, it has nothing to do against any Fairy-type Pokemon, and with that, our Wigglytuff is absolutely free, and we don't need any charge moves, any shields here, I mean, and also don't need any charge moves to be fair either, because we can just farm them all the way down. So, yeah, this team is absolutely fantastic. The lead is going to be high pressure, especially in 2-shield scenario as well with the Psychic Fangs. We have high pressure as well with the Wigglytuff. But the cool thing about Dusclops is you have so much chip damage you're going to be able to do with this Pokemon. And this puts so many Pokemon into farm down range, which we even see here right now with the Corviknight putting them very, very low. While we're not going to do tremendous amounts of damage with Shadow Punch and Ice Punch, we are going to be able to put opponents into ranges where we can just easily farm them down, and even if they have shields, it doesn't matter then anymore. And so that's why I like so much about this team. Like, there's so much kind of different play with this team that you can run. So, let's see here next opponent. We see the Lapras swapping in, and we see that I'm going to use the drop there onto the opponent in order to make the matchup a little bit easier for myself. What I didn't really expect is on how much damage actually that Lapras is going to be able to do here. Well, it's going to be a non-Shadow Lapras against non-Shadow Dusclops. I expected that this would be a way more like one-sided matchup. We are going to actually struggle, and we have to use a shield here, and we still have to go for another charge move against the opponent in order to realign ourselves. But I do think that realignment is quite important from what we've seen so far, as Bellibolt is a Pokemon that actually here runs Thunder Shock as well, is only running electric type charge move coverage, which means that in a matchup against something like the Steelix, it doesn't have any play at all, while against our Wigglytuff it would have some play. And so, what we see here as well is that we got a lot of chip damage, and this is exactly what I mean. Dusclops doesn't really want to win matchups straight away on its own, like that can happen as well, it can realign itself as well. But the main benefit of it is that you put Pokemon into farm down range. You have two Pokemon with two different type of fast moves that are going to be able to, kind of take advantage of this quite easily. Here, this battle is already over, the opponent knows it as well, and we can move on to the next one. So what about weaknesses? What's the weakness of the team? there weren't really any big weaknesses that I was able to distinguish here. At the end of the day, against every single Pokemon, I feel like you still have some play, because every Pokemon that's kind of awkward for our lead, as well as the Wigglytuff, Dusclops actually has some sort of play against, so you could even play out the matchup with your Steelix, and then just try out to, do as much as you can then later on with the Dusclops. So, for example, Pokemon like Skeledirge, which can resist Charm and does super effective damage against Steelix, would be a Pokemon that Dusclops has not really a lot of problems with. Of course, if they're energy up and whatever, it's gonna be a bit an issue because it's Ghost type against Ghost type. But it wouldn't be really the worst there. Other Pokemon would be, of course, generally any fire type Pokemon that isn't Talonflame, because Talonflame is actually alright for us. Talonflame has the weakness to the Thunderfang of our Steelix, which allows us then to actually have a very neutral matchup, which I think we're gonna see today as well here still in this video, so definitely stay tuned for that. There are always a few more Pokemon though that are going to be a bit more awkward. One of them would be, for example, Clodsire, that I could see being a bit of an issue for this team. But here we're going to be able to go ahead and go into our Steelix. What I have to say though, I went positive with this team for sure. I went a total of 7-4 with this team, I think, which is really good, and I'm even closer now. I actually dropped a little bit afterwards because I tried a different team that didn't work out perfectly yet, but I think it still can work out. I think I just misplayed a few times there as well, but I'm very close now to the next rank with Expert. But this team itself, honestly, most of the battles that I lost was because of inexperience. That's all. Like, literally because of inexperience. I could have played some matchups just better, and I would be able to win them a little bit more. Anyway, I kind of definitely want to say shouts to the opponent here because they're running Aegislash. In my opinion, a Pokemon that's absolutely not a good Pokemon to run. Sadly, like, it's also ranked 280 or something on PE Poke for a good reason. I think it's not really directly shown perfectly though. I think it's going to be better than this. But as we will see here as well, the opponent stops onto the Azumarill, which allows us to go ahead and go for the Psychic Fangs to drop the opponent's defense. And what we can do is that we can go for another one and just get a ton of damage onto them. Because they already played one spicy Pokemon, I was thinking that they might have something like the Hydro Pump here now. And I was correct with that. So that's kind of hilarious. To be fair, Hydro Pump Azumarill could be an interesting Pokemon to play as well in the current meta. Just to see if we're going to be able to, like, I don't know, have some fun with that Pokemon, surprise some opponents with it. Other Pokemon, like, there's so many, like, top meta Pokemon that have, like, alternative movesets that we would be maybe even able to take a look at. Even Dusclops would have access to Poltergeist, which would be a cool move to go for. There's Pokemon like Diggersby that has access to, like, Return, which I have as well built already, which is a cool Pokemon to have. So there are a lot of different kind of top meta Pokemon that have, like, different kind of play. As we see here, they're going to have more Pack on their back, and with that, I know I'm already in a very solid position. I don't have to shield here because even Aurel is going to be resisted. They're going to swap out straight away, so I'm going to swap out straight away. You see it here already, and I have the Crunch already stored for the Aegislash, and of course, with the recent bug fixed for Aegislash, this Pokemon actually takes damage now for moves. I think this is the better approach though as well. Like now in Hansen, especially when you're going to get a full XL Pokemon off this one here, you're going to be in a way better spot, then it's going to still be a very, very good bulky Pokemon. Right now, I don't really think Aegislash is great unless you have a fully XL Pokemon for it. I don't think it's going to be great otherwise. And we can move on now to the next opponent. With Scissor on the lead. This is, by the way, the main reason why I did think that Steelix would be a great lead to have right now. Scissor and Tedenia are very common leads, and both of them are going to be quite weak to our Steelix here. So that's going to be alright for us. Crunch is coming through. We are going to be able to go for the defense stop there as well with that. That's kind of cool. We can have the move go here, and we're going to be able to win the one-shield scenario against the opponent. So that is going to be fantastic. They swap onto the Credilli, and I should be able to swap out here now into my Dusclops, hopefully. But I actually decided to stay in here, which... Oh no, wait. They went down. Went down, so I had to stay in there. Sorry, never mind there. But we're going to be able to go for another Crunch, forcing maybe even a shield from the opponent, which does work out here quite well. As it is going to be a triple resisted move there. It's a triple resisted move on Steelix, so it didn't do any damage other than like one, which is kind of hilarious. But they're still going to have a lot of energy here, which is not ideal. But we can kind of, let it go, play around with it. Rock Tomb coming in. I can go for the Ice Punch now. This is going to allow us to get them kind of low. We need another Ice Punch in order to get the KO. And as we will see here, the opponent is going to be able to knock us out. Doesn't really matter. We have a shield still. They have a Azumarill in the back. And I do think we're going to be alright here. But I make one big mistake here, to be fair. And I will tell you now what the mistake is. I decided to no shield here. I know it's just a play rough, and I know that I have to take a play rough. Which I didn't consider though is that if I go for a shield here, I would be guaranteed that I would be able to get one extra free fast movement against the opponent's Zoom roll because we have 3-turn move, and I would still have to go then for another play rough in order to get us low. So I would have had a little bit more health here. It's still gonna be a win for us, but I could have played a little bit more cleaner there, definitely. But also could have been, of course, that the opponent would have went for a bait there then or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to see Talonflame as already said before here now in this battle, which is going to be alright. We're going to be able to go ahead and go for that no shield, which is going to be perfectly fine as well. The Brave Bird is coming through. They're going to win this lead matchup, but I'm going to be able to get some energy now with my next Pokemon. Dusclops is coming in here, getting an energy advantage. They go into the Swampert, and that is going to be such a fun matchup. Because we're always going to be able to outspeed them. We're always going to be able to go for kind of good fast move timing, which is going to be alright. And what we're gonna see here next is that we can just use a shield. And we're going to be in a very, very good position for ourselves. We're going to be able to go for another Shadow Punch against the opponent. That is going to be perfectly suitable for us. This is going to do some nice damage. Or get the shield. And I think that we put them now with the fast move pressure already in the range, where one Shadow Punch is going to be in fact enough to knock them out here, which is going to be alright, as we will see another Shadow Punch coming through. This is going to allow us to get a lot of damage against the Credilli, and I'm still going to try to go for another Ice Punch against the Credilli. But I would love to actually keep my Dusclops still alive here, but we have to see on how this is going to go. They're going to go ahead and go for another charge move. That is alright. I have to go for my next charge move as well still. I'm going to go for the Shadow Punch here actually and hope that they're going to let the move go, because then I can farm them down with a Wigglytuff, which I will be able to do now. The opponent goes down there, the opponent goes actually first into the Swampert, goes down here and now forfeits. Next up, we're going to have the Marowak against us here in the lead. That is going to be alright. As we will see here, this is going to be now an interesting matchup for us as well. We're going to get the Shadow Punch off first. Why did I do this? Because I was able to deny the opponent's fast move with this move, as well as we were able to underline the switch clock, which now allows us to swap out a little bit earlier later on. We see the opponent going for a charge move here, but I will be able to overfarm by a lot and then kind of, align my Steelix against the opponent after this charge move here, which is going to be alright. And I have now another charge move stored, and I can swap onto my Steelix now to try to take the hits from the opponent. They decide to go for a charge move here, that's perfectly alright for me, and I can just take the hit here. If it's a Flame Shot, that's alright. It's a Brave Bird, that's even better. Swap back out into the Marowak. I would have been able to even reach a crunch there in time if they didn't go for the charge move. But here, I went for the Ice Punch, and I don't know if this was the right call. I think I should have rather went into my Wigglytuff and just charmed him down. I still gonna get to the Shadow Punch here though, which is alright. But either I should have went for the Shadow Punch first and then for the Ice Punch, or I should have just went straight into the Wigglytuff. I decided to let the move go here, because I do think that a Bone Club does less against whatever they have in the back still, most likely. There's very likely some harder hitting damage coming through, and it's going to be the Blastoise. And to be fair, I think that maybe would have been a win con for me if I just went straight into my Wigglytuff. I do think this would have had a win con there then. At this point, I know I will be able to shield up, of course, one Hydro Cannon, but unless they're gonna swap out of here now and give me a ton of energy for free, which they didn't, I will lose this battle, and that is alright. Don't think I played it perfectly right here as well, but I'm not too sure what will change the matchup fully either. So, we have Annihilape against us. We're going to be able to swap out of here, and we're going to have the Blasters against us here as well next. That's going to be alright. This is going to be kind of what I want to see, because this is where Dusclops kind of excels. Matchups that take long. Matchups that take long, where you have also the fast move just sneaking through the opponents the entire time as well. That's kind of where this Pokemon excels a lot, because you have a nice bulk. You're going to be able to, I'm going to shield up the first move, but I'm going to let the next move go through. But I'm going to be able to outspeed them, most likely, because I need 35 energy and they need 40 energy. And I think we generate energy at the same pace. So, this is going to be something where I'm going to be able to definitely outspeed them eventually. Here it's going to be a CMP tie. I do think still I'm going to be alright just shielding up, because I would like to have the alignment, because I still have a good answer against the opponent's Annihilape. Here I wish I went for an extra fast move now, because as we see here, they're going to go into their Annihilape, and they're actually going to be able to outspeed me, which is kind of unfortunate. I was hoping I would still outspeed them. They're going to have another boost on themselves, but of course they're also going to have Wigglytuff aligned against themselves. They have the Credilli now in the back. The fast move is resisted, and I make a huge mistake here. I make one more huge mistake. What I did is I decided to go for the Psychic Fangs here, which is perfect. That is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. But I got greedy. And I was thinking, maybe I can trick the opponent a little bit now. And I could go ahead and go for the Crunch. I should have went for Psychic Fangs. I didn't think about the situation that I was in here right now. It would have made so much more sense because I could have even swapped out of here now. That is even, I don't know, I might be even sillier that I didn't swap out there. I don't know, actually maybe smarter to not swap out then in hindsight. But I am going to be able to get some damage out in here, but I would have knocked them out at this point. If I would have got the Psychic Fangs drop there, or the Crunch drop to be fair as well, 20% chance there, I would have knocked them out already. Now I can go for the Icy Wind here, but because I didn't go for that extra Psychic Fangs, I'm going to lose this battle here. Hopefully you enjoyed this video though still, this team was amazing. Some things that I definitely would have changed later on in terms of how I played. But yeah, good games to the opponent, well played there, and I hope I see you next. Bye bye.